Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a 1997 American martial arts fantasy film directed by John R. Leonetti in his directorial debut from a screenplay by Brent V. Friedman and Bryce Zabel. Based on the Mortal Kombat video game franchise, it is the second installment in the Mortal Kombat film series and a sequel to the original 1995 film, which Leonetti served as the cinematographer of. Largely an adaptation of the video game Mortal Kombat 3 1995, Annihilation follows Liu Kang and his allies as they attempt to stop the malevolent Shao Kahn from conquering Earthrealm. It stars Robin Shou as Liu, Talisa Soto as Kitana, James Remar as Rayden, Sandra Hess as Sonya Blade, Lynn Red Williams as Jax, and Brian Thompson as Kahn. Only Shou and Soto reprise their roles, with the rest of the characters recast from the previous film. Released to theaters on November 11, 1997, Annihilation received largely negative reviews for its story, characters, and special effects. It was also a box office disappointment, grossing $51 million against a $30 million budget. Due to the film's poor critical and commercial response, a direct sequel was cancelled. A third Mortal Kombat film languished in development hell for nearly 2 decades until the series was rebooted by a 2021 installment. Plot: the evil Outworld Emperor Shao Kahn opens a portal to Earthrealm and has resurrected his queen Sindel, Princess Kitana's long-deceased mother, to facilitate his invasion. Earthrealm is to be absorbed into Outworld within 6 days, a fate which reigning Mortal Kombat champion Liu Kang and his allies must prevent. When Kahn kills Johnny Cage during a confrontation with the Thunder God Rayden, the Earthrealm warriors retreat to seek allies. An emotionally distraught Sonya Blade enlists the help of her Special Forces partner, Jax. Together they destroy the robotic ninja Cyrax and Kitana's clone, Mileena. Kitana and Liu search for a Native American shaman named Nightwolf, who seemingly knows the key to defeating Kahn. Kitana and Liu destroy another robotic ninja Smoke with the aid of Sub-Zero, who identifies as the younger brother of the warrior killed by Liu. But Scorpion suddenly appears and kidnaps Kitana. Meanwhile, Rayden meets with the Elder Gods and asks them why Kahn was allowed to break the tournament rules and force his way into Earthrealm, and how he can be stopped. The answers he receives are sparse and ambiguous. One says that reuniting Kitana with her mother. Rayden is then asked by the Elder Gods about his feelings and obligations towards the mortals, and what he would be willing to do to ensure their survival. Liu finds Nightwolf, who teaches him about the power of the animality, a form of shapeshifting which utilizes the caster's strengths and abilities. To achieve the mindset needed to acquire this power, Liu must pass 3 tests. The first is a trial of his self-esteem, courage, and focus. The second comes in the form of temptation, which manifests itself in the form of Jade, a mysterious warrior who attempts to seduce Liu and offers her assistance after he resists her advances. Liu accepts Jade's offer and takes her with him to the Elder God's temple, where he and his friends are to meet Rayden. The third test is never revealed. At the temple, the Earthrealm warriors reunite with Rayden and learn that he has sacrificed his immortality to freely fight alongside them. Together, they infiltrate Outworld to rescue Kitana and reunite her with Sindel in hopes of restoring her soul and closing the Outworld portal to Earth. Liu rescues Kitana, killing Baraka and Shiva in the process, while the others incapacitate Sindel. However, Sindel remains under Kahn's control and escapes during an ambush, while Jade reveals herself to be a double agent sent by Kahn to disrupt the hero's plans before he feeds Jade to a gargoyle for her failure. Rayden then reveals that Shao Kahn is his brother and that the former Elder God Shinnok is their father. He realizes that Shinnok is supporting Khan. With renewed purpose, Rayden and the Earthrealm warriors make their way to the final showdown with Khan. Shinnok demands that Rayden submit to him and restore their broken family at the expense of his mortal friends. Rayden refuses and is killed by an energy blast from Shao Kahn. After a hard fight, Jax, Sonya, and Kitana emerge victorious over Khan's generals, but Liu struggles with Khan, and his animality barely proves effective, exposing a cut to Khan that proves he is now mortal. Shinnok, who explains that these are the consequences for breaking the sacred rules, attempts to intervene and kill Liu on Khan's behalf, but two of the elder gods arrive, having uncovered Shinnok's treachery. They declare that the fate of Earth shall be decided in Mortal Kombat. Liu finally defeats Khan, and Shinnok is banished to the Netherrealm. Earthrealm reverts to its former state, and with Khan's hold over Sindel finally broken, she reunites with Kitana. Rayden is revived by the other elder gods, who bestow upon him his father's former position. With everything right in the universe once again, the Earthrealm warriors return home. Cast. Production. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is loosely based on the 1995 video game Mortal Kombat 3, while featuring the character roster of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. There were also plot elements from Mortal Kombat 4, but these scenes were cut from the final theatrical version. While the original attracted casual moviegoers as well as gamers, Annihilation catered exclusively to the game's fans. Producer Lawrence Kasanoff said he was trying to make the film even more spectacular than the first movie, which earned a healthy $73 million in the US. Annihilation is 3 times more ambitious than Mortal Kombat. Our theme for the sequel is to shoot for more fights, more special effects, more Outworld, more everything. Filming began in the first quarter of 1996. Part of the movie was filmed on location at Perry's Mountain on the island of Anglesey, off the coast of Wales, incorrectly listed as being part of England in the closing credits. Other filming locations included London, Jordan, and Thailand. Though Annihilation attempted to continue in the style of the first movie, the cast of returning characters from the original was almost completely overhauled. Only Robin Shou, Liu Kang, and Talisa Soto Kitana reprised their roles, while the only other actor to return was Keith Cook Reptile in the first film as Sub-Zero. Steven Painter and Neil Gorton provided some of the props for the film. The French release of the movie was known as Mortal Kombat Destruction Finale Final Destruction, while the Italian release was titled Mortal Kombat. The film's novelization by Jerome Preisler was published through Tor Books. Thai actor and martial artist Tony Jaa was a stunt double for Robin Shou in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Music. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is the soundtrack to the film. The Mortal Kombat theme was composed by Prabhu Khan and Oliver Adams. The soundtrack was released on October 28, 1997 by TVT Records. Reception. Box office. Mortal Kombat Annihilation was released on November 21, 1997, and its opening weekend take was $16 million, enough for a #1 debut at the box office. It grossed $35 million domestically and made over $51 million worldwide. Critical response. According to Rotten Tomatoes, 2% of 43 critics gave Annihilation a positive review, with an average rating of 2.3/10. The website's critics' consensus states, with its shallow characters, low-budget special effects, and mindless fight scenes, Mortal Kombat Annihilation offers minimal plot development and manages to underachieve the low bar set by its predecessor. Metacritic assigned the film a weighted average score of 11 out of 100 based on 12 critics, indicating an overwhelming dislike. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of C+ on an A+ to F scale. Jason Gibner of AllMovie wrote, "Whereas the first film was a guilty schlock pleasure, this sequel is an exercise in the art of genuinely beautiful trash cinema." Marjorie Baumgarten of the Austin Chronicle opined, "It was nothing more than a perpetual chain of elaborately choreographed fight sequences that are linked together by the most flimsy and laughable of plot elements." Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly gave the film a D rating, calling it abysmal and incoherent. R. L. Schaffer of IGN wrote in 2011, "Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a bad movie. No way around it." Over the years, however, it has evolved into a cult hit of sorts, playing as an unintentional comedy, a spoof of the early video game movies and their painfully obvious cash-in mentality. In separate 2012 interviews, Mortal Kombat co-creators Ed Boon and John Tobias selected Annihilation as their personal worst moments in the history of their work on the franchise. Other media. Novelization. Novelizations of both Mortal Kombat movies were written by Martin Del Rio and Jerome Preisler. Cancelled sequel. Robin Shou's original Mortal Kombat contract was a 3-picture deal, and Threshold Entertainment's production on a second sequel was initially scheduled to commence shortly after the release of Annihilation, but it was shelved due to Annihilation's poor reception and disappointing box office performance. Attempts to produce a third film since then have remained stuck in development hell, with numerous script rewrites and storyline, cast, and crew changes. November 2001 poll on the official Mortal Kombat website hosted by Threshold asked fans which characters they believed would die in the third movie. The 2005 destruction of New Orleans by Hurricane Katrina greatly affected one of the film's planned shooting locations. In June 2009, a bankruptcy court lawsuit saw Lawrence Kasanoff suing Midway Games while mentioning that a third film was in the works. Warner Bros., which became the parent company of New Line Cinema in 2008, after over a decade of both operating as separate divisions of Time Warner, ended up purchasing most of Midway's assets, including Mortal Kombat.